introduce
I know.
it.
It takes a little while to kind of like get a comfortable position,
I
isn't
can't
it?
copy your pose either, Igor. I've got it like. No,
I think
can't
you had
mirror you.
You had that. You had that last time, I think.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yes. Here we go. Right. Okay.
Here we are.
Do you want to say it or shall I say it?
You say.
Okay. Welcome back to episode 3 of Another Idea.
Boom, boom, boom. Welcome
The
back.
podcast for creatives, self-employed entrepreneurs, solo businesses, small businesses, anybody that loves art and design. Just is that it in a nutshell? Is that where we're going?
Yeah. Creatives, boom.
And today's podcast is geared towards 10 points that we think can positively impact your business. But before we get into that, we need to say that the sharing, the social side of this, please, don't we, really, is where we kind of ask our audience, the people that are listening, just to give us some feedback on it, let us know what they think, share it on socials, just try and give it a bit of traction.
Yes. If you're watching YouTube, like and subscribe. And iTunes reviews, Spotify reviews, leave a little comment to what you're actually thinking of the episodes. Those are crucial, really, for growth. And
we want to just make it as the best it can be, don't we?
Exactly. And we want to hear what you, the audience, are getting out from these episodes, really. Because after all, yes, we hear waffling to ourselves,
Plenty of that.
We really want to see how things are how we're impacting you guys. So yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
and it's just good. It's good for us to get an idea of, the positive takeaways for people. Like, we want to know that this is having an impact and people are taking benefits from this conversation.
Yeah.
So anything you can do just to give us a little shout out or share would be massively appreciated. We'll try and look at everyone that does it, and we'll try and share as many as we can.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
I'm slowly watching my mic just.
Do you want to fix it? Do you want to fix it before we get into the episode too much? I mean, you can't even look at me. This was your responsibility, setting up the microphones. Can't even do that properly.
Sorry.
Okay, are we good to go?
I think so.
Is that better? So should we get on with today's episode?
Boom, let's go. I'm excited.
Is this the awkward silence where we decide who wants to? I don't know. You go on. You can kick us off and running.
Yeah, number one, it's crowdfunding. That was you with a little play on words.
Yeah.
But it's very much on networking, having the self-awareness of the people that you surround yourself with. And I think that we are sort of like a perfect example of that, really, of wanting to keep our circles quite small, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. When I said you kick it off, I thought you were going to give us a little bit of an intro into how we've formulated these 10 points, like what we've done. So can I just do that quickly? Can I take it from you?
Yeah.
So we have a board in front of us, right?
Yeah.
We spent a bit of time the other day just trying to think of 10 things that we've done as individuals and as businesses that have been a really positive thing, just something that we've implemented that has had a positive and a profound impact on our businesses. And where it's, we've altered the trajectory of our business because we've done something.
Yes.
And one of these points, we spent a bit of time, didn't we, going through all of them?
Yeah,
and trying to,
we promise it's not clickbait. It's not clickbait,
No.
we promise.
But each one we gave serious thought to. So we've written down the 10 points on the board in front of us, and we're just going to have an open discussion about each one of those points.
Yeah.
And hopefully just pass on a few knowledge bombs and a few little hints and tips to people that some of it, we've even said this morning, is almost borderline patronising in a way. Like, not patronising, maybe that's the wrong word, but it's so simple and obvious that more often than not, when you're running a business, that sometimes you need to dial it back down to basics.
Yeah. It's really important because it's so easy to sort of like have blinders on to whatever circumstances happening or whatever busy season you are within the business, that we actually take our eye off the simple truths and simple things that really propel your business forward.
Yeah, and the first one was crowdfunding.
Boom.
So that was us talking about just surrounding yourself with the right kind of people and having, I think the key is having a self-awareness, isn't it, of who surrounds you at the moment and who is influencing you. I had it recently with a lad who I was mentoring, who was incredibly self-aware to the point where he said, I need to step away from the people that I'm networking with at the minute, because they're not the people that I want to carry my business forward. They aren't people that inspire. And I was like amazed that, a young lad would be able to say that to me, and was so aware that he needed to adjust his crowd, his circle of people, because they weren't the people that he wanted to. He didn't want to be there where they were in 10 years' time. He wanted more than that.
Yeah.
And I think that level of self-awareness is huge.
Yeah. No, that's great. And at the same time, I think the main point really is to, once you find those people that you just click with, and that you see them going after things, and people that just propel you forwards, people that once you left their company, you just feel like, oh yeah, that was great, and you just want to move forward with your business or creatively, whatever you want to do. Seek those people and keep them close.
And seek those people that are further down the line than you. That have already gone on that journey, because the knowledge and the experience they'll have that they can pass on, and you might not. You don't know You don't know you don't know when that knowledge is going to arrive from those people. Like, you don't. It just comes up in conversation. I had a drink the other day with a couple of my friends who are 5-8 years older than I am, and both really successful in business, and I actually said to both of them that I kind of owe them a little thanks for basically saying something that allowed me to go, I'm going to take the studio on. And both of them said a couple of things. One was like, and it's another point we're going to get to in a bit, was you just don't know, mate. You just don't know, right? You just got to give it a shot. What have you got to lose?
That's it.
And it was just that one line from Ian was basically all I needed to go, okay, right, do you know what? I'm going to go for it. And if I hadn't have had that conversation, if I hadn't have had Ian in my network or in my crowd, I wouldn't have had that conversation. And that cascades in some ways.
And
Totally.
that's why I keep you close. That's why I keep you close. Ian did that to you. You do that to me.
When are
in
you
some
moving
ways.
in? There's room. I mean, this is a sofa bed, Igor. If you want, I mean, minimal rate for you.
You'll start seeing episodes at like 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. whatever, and but that's what I love about it. That's what I love about relationship, because we shouldn't, in some ways, according to how things have been done in the past within our industry, we shouldn't be friends or whatever. We're competition.
You could see it like that.
So why?
But what the caveat and the flip side to that is, how much work have we passed to each other?
True.
It happens all the time. For me, it's like it's the sum of, like, you're the sum of the company you keep. For me, it's as simple as that. And if you want to surround yourself with people that aren't driven and aspiring to greater things, or are negative and moan, then that's going to impact. It's going to rub off on you, and you are going to become that kind of person. You had when we were talking about this point, you had a Sidney Poitier quote, didn't you? What was that? Do you want do you remember it?
Yes, it's very much on the lines of, whenever you're running or jogging with someone, your brain tends to adjust to their pace, and I find that, again, it's the same with you and me. I love the fact that you're going for things and going and getting them, and that rubs off on me, and I just want to do exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why it's so important, really, to find those people that you can rub shoulders with, and forget what the industry say about sharing or passing on clients or whatever else. There is plenty for everybody. There really is.
Oh, of course there is.
There really is.
Yeah, the world's huge.
There's plenty for everybody in terms of clients and whatever monetization you can get. So just go and find those people, really. It's crucial, really. It's crucial.
It's a great quote to kind of wrap up that point, I think, isn't it?
Boom.
I suppose just a point that you touched on there about, work going around. Like, what's the alternative? That you kind of close yourself off and you keep yourself to yourself, and you go, no, I'm not going to
one man island.
I'm not going to converse with that person because they're competition.
Yeah.
I mean, think of like the missed opportunity. Like, we wouldn't be sat here if either of us had that approach.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. I don't think our businesses would be where they're at if we had that approach.
No.
Is there anything else to say on that point? I think we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we covered it. And here's another point for the sort of like introverts out there. That's sort of like, I hate talking to people, or I hate I just like my own company. And what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? And
we're not saying like connect with people that you don't like.
Yeah.
We're encouraging you and our audience to kind of go, I'm going to connect with people that get me and are on they're my vibe.
Yeah.
But they've got something to bring to the table as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and connect with every Tom, Dick and Harry on the street. We just want people to be aware that if you keep yourself to yourself and you have a crowd around you that aren't pushing you forward and aren't championing you and aren't going, yeah, come on, what you're doing now is amazing.
Yeah.
Come on. But what else can you do?
Yeah.
That's the key, isn't it? It's like, okay, me and you have these chats all the time, and it'll be like, okay, that's great, but what else can you do? Come on, where else can you take this? Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Where are you at? Where's the business? Constantly making those little, putting those little questions to you that are going to push you on and make you kind of go, yeah, okay. Yeah. Because we've talked about this before about like the levels of accountability in our industry. Yeah. When you're self-employed, it's hard. Like, there is no, you have to hold yourself accountable. But sometimes having people in your network that can do that for you a little bit, but also inspire you and encourage you to push on is huge.
You nailed it.
So yeah, on to the next point. What was the next one?
Point number 2, fitness.
Oh, one of my favourites.
Yes.
Although at the minute I don't feel particularly great because I've been so busy with the studio. Even my wife made me try and do like a little bit of she's a PT and was doing a class for the gym the other day, and she went, in 7 minutes could you just try and do all this for me? And it was 7:30 in the morning, I'm in my dressing gown and I'm doing burpees on my kitchen floor.
Go Gemma.
I was like, God, I did like 10 burpees and was written off for the day. But anyway, that's not for another time. But yeah, I think the reason we wrote fitness down so quickly was because you are your business.
Yeah.
And if you can't look after yourself, there is no business.
That's it. I think, I don't know how it works in my mind, how this point works in my mind, but I think very much with COVID as well has been a massive sort of like wake up call for quite a lot of people in terms of how they see their health and fitness, and it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. Again, full of the quotes today.
Okay, yeah. What have you got for us? Do tell.
Paraphrasing it, I heard this Warren Buffett quote on how he was teaching a class, and he said to a class of students, and I said, if I could give you a car today, I would choose the color blue car and pristine, or in fact, let's flip it or start again. If I could take it to a dealership today, and you can see the sea of cars in here, choose one and I'll pay it. I'll give it to you for free. The only caveat will be that you can only have this car for life. That's it. That's your only car for life. And okay, you go for it. And that's how we should, in some ways, treat our bodies, really. It's one body, one life. That's it. That's all we've got. Because once that's gone, it's gone, really. So having that sense of urgency, really, towards our bodies should happen more. At least I know that I don't have that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And I really want to sort of train that, instill that a lot more within me. So I guess this year started with this rule of I will be at the gym at least twice a week. it's working. It's sort of like went downhill as soon as February started.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you have just moved house and had your second child.
yes,
so,
but again, it's having that sense of urgency.
Yes.
One body, one life.
Because you would look after that car a lot more if you knew that you'd only got that.
That's it.
You know, cars have almost become a bit of a like.
Yeah.
So they're almost. I'll just get another one in 2 years' time. But the whole point of that is that we don't have that luxury with our bodies. And that, you do need to look after it.
That's it.
It's not even about just looking after it for me. It's about the benefits of it for your business aren't just that your business then exists.
Yeah.
It's that your business then thrives because you are in a better place.
Yeah.
Like I know that when I'm putting time into me and looking after myself, I'm full of more energy.
Yeah.
I'm more focused. I can work longer. I can work better for longer than I can do if I'm not. And we both work in industries that are, they're physically demanding, aren't they? Right?
Yeah.
It's tough, but the year that I decided to make fitness kind of part, and this was the big thing for me, was I made that switch in my mind to say, right, actually, do you know what? I'm going to make fitness part of my job. Mm-hmm. And that was a big change for me, because before that, it was just something I had to do.
Yeah.
Whereas once I said to myself, no, I'm going to make it part of my job, because if I can't physically keep up in my job, or I'm injured, or I put my back out, I can't provide for my family. So making that switch to say, all right, do you know what? I'm going to make it part of my job was a huge thing for me. And I just found I'd go to weddings and I'd have more energy. I'd work later, like comfortably. I'd wake up the following day and just feel okay. Whereas before that, I can still remember those first, year or so of weddings. You feel like you've been hit by a bus, don't you? And that was a big sort of pivotal part of my business. Yeah. And it's a part I don't think gets talked about enough actually in business. Yeah. I really don't. I've talked about it a few times at kind of workshops and at conferences, and people genuinely seem a bit amazed that you've talked about fitness, but they all go, yeah, do you know what? I need to do that.
Yeah. It's crucial. It's a crucial one. And you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Number 3.
Anything else to talk about on that one?
No. I think that it really...
The one final point was about comfort zone. There was another point, and it's about when we say to people, go and start doing, you don't need to go and run a marathon tomorrow.
Yes.
It's just about it's compounding parts of, like, just doing little bits that compound over time. And with anything in business, like, consistency is the key ingredient, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Like you saying you go twice a week is great. That's better than not going at all.
Yeah.
But you just need to make sure you go twice a week.
Yeah.
And you do that for 6 months, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better than going for 5 times in 1 week and then missing 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Next point. Was that number 2? That was number 2.
So that was number 2. No.
What's number 3?
I'm loving this.
Take risks, Igor.
Boom.
Number 3.
Take risks.
Take risks.
What risks have we been taking lately? This is just a random question, but to each other. What risk have we been taking lately?
I think it comes down to, like, without any risk, there's no reward, is there?
Yeah. And I think just being in the space in itself, that's a massive.
Well, I've had to remind myself of the risk I took when I first became a photographer. Mm-hmm. Because we talked about this last week, I think in episode 2 about just becoming comfortable and then not really pushing yourself because you've just achieved what you need to achieve. And I kind of feel like I've had to go and do that again with this space and go, actually, do you know what? There's more here. And if I don't take that risk, I'll never know.
Yeah, that's it.
And can you live with that? I can't. Hence why I'm here and I'm taking the risk.
Yeah, that's it. Another one I think would be literally this. Another idea. It's we could be wasting our time here.
Yeah. We get 3 listeners. Both of our mums will listen. Gemma won't listen. She's not going to be a fan. Does I listen?
Yeah,
yes, I'll listen. It is a risk. Yeah, but we're doing something that we believe in and that we believe is going to bring value and ideas to people. Hence, why I've called it another idea. But it is a risk.
Yeah.
What will we do if we only get 10 listeners after about the first couple of months?
We would have learned heaps about this sort of format.
Yeah.
And I think that it's something that we perhaps would introduce to our own businesses at some point as well.
Yeah.
For whatever. If you, for example, wanted to create go live with someone that you really, really like from here or wherever, you'd be able to do that really easily now in a quite professional way. And I think
nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Boom.
You know, what how do you see your, like, can you remember that time when you went and kind of bought all your gear as a photographer and like kind of went, I'm going to go for this? Like, can you remember back to that?
Yes, very much so.
Did you feel like you were taking a risk? Because I kind of think we were, but we weren't maybe as aware of it. I think now there's a real awareness of taking risks.
Yeah.
And I think that's because we've got families now and we've got kids and we have responsibilities.
I wouldn't say so much when I bought cameras or anything like that, but it did felt like a risk and perhaps waste of money when I bought a drone for the first time.
Okay.
But the rewards that I've gotten from the shots that I've gotten way outweighed that. But it was just something that was so outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So alien to me. What if something happened? Not even just buying. What if something happened whilst you're flying?
What if it fell out of the sky and hit somebody on the head?
And all those things go through your mind. But the reward way outweighs the sort of fear that I had about it really at the time. So yeah,
great stuff. It's amazing, isn't it, how like comfort can kill so many great ideas and people's ability to grow.
Yeah,
you know, you've really got to force. You've got to force yourself to take a little bit of a risk, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But hopefully by the end of the process, you're in a much better place, and that's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So take risks.
Take risks.
Okay, number 4.
Know your numbers. I love this one because it's true. If you can't grow what you haven't measured, if you haven't really sat down and looked at your numbers and see where you're coming from in some ways, take tally of that, it's hard to really see where you've come from really, and that growth as well, hopefully would be a growth rather than decline, will inspire you to spur on to keep growing the business and keep pushing things forward.
I don't even think seeing the decline's a bad thing. Seeing the decline that's point proven.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a decline in something, you know that you've got to act.
You got to change stuff.
Yeah. So, but if you weren't, if something was declining and you weren't aware that it was declining and you just carry on regardless,
true,
you're shooting yourself in the foot, right?
Yeah.
And that's the point in a nutshell. Is you know, you need to know if something's doing well, you do more of it. Yeah. You lean into that more. You invest more into that part of your business. If it's not doing well, you either drop it or you change it.
Yeah. And I think as well as creatives, it's so easy to fall into the category of we are creatives.
Yeah, we don't need to look at balance sheets or tracking numbers, whatever.
That's it, and just bury your head in the sand.
Yeah.
But I think as entrepreneurs, we need to. It's our duty really to sort of know your numbers and be proud of it and really go after things really.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're not saying here that you need to sit down and do all of your your tax returns. You can outsource that, but you need to be able to sit down with your accountant and go, right, okay, well, how's the business performed?
Yeah.
Or it might be that you've got an advertising budget and you need to know, well, where's that money going? Okay, right. So how are those ads performing?
Yeah.
What conversion rates am I getting? Is it working? Is it not working? If it's not working, does it need to change?
Yeah.
Knowing your numbers goes across the board of the business, really.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great point. I think it's one that, like you've said, creatives could very easily just disregard.
Yeah.
Because we're creatives and let's just go make more art.
Yeah.
But if you want to sustain that and you want to grow a business, you need to know how it's performing.
Yeah, it's a crucial one. It really, really is. Number 5, knowing when to switch off.
This is quite a recent one for me.
Yeah.
Don't know about you.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
100%. Especially with everything going on in the Denver household. It's been a massive one for me, especially over the.
I love your dining table, by the way. Shall we just talk about that for a brief moment? Let's go off on a conversation that we didn't think it was going to go on. But
it took absolute ages
it's a beautiful dining
for
table.
that dining table to arrive. We bought it before. Did we buy it before even we bought the house?
Yeah,
we did.
You did.
We did, and yeah, I do love that table.
We really need a new house for our dining table. That's what you did, didn't you?
An 8-seater that we can just invite people and have a great party.
I messaged you straight away as soon as you put it up on Instagram. I was like, I love that table. It's a beautiful table.
I do love that table. But yeah, tangent aside.
Yeah, let's get back to the point.
Denver household. Yes, we're buying a new house, having a new baby. I had very much to switch certain things off within the business. It's not that I had to, but I wanted to just switch off from socials in some ways. Yeah. And it wasn't as if I was kind of like off the grid and didn't watch anything. I was consuming quite a lot of social media still, but in terms of posting and creating it, creating it, I wasn't there. And having the strength or having the grace to kind of like say, it's okay. It's okay to...
I mean, I didn't even know you'd gone, to be honest. No, I did. I could, but I think it's really good that you had that awareness and you were able to take that decision and go, do you know what? I'm just going to dial it back a little bit for now. And it's the right time to do it. You know, you've just had your second child, you've moved house, you've had a lot on your plate. And sometimes, those distractions, it's just another layer, isn't it? Sometimes it's just good just to turn it off for a bit.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Just to recharge and then to be present and to focus on where you're at the moment. And, I was talking about this with a couple that I met yesterday, and we were just reminiscing about the pre-mobile phone days, and kids these days growing up not aware of what it was like before devices, and to have that time where you just go home from school. And you'd have 4 channels to pick from, and then there was 5, and that was it. You would just switch off and just do whatever, Whereas now there's no off switch.
And those sort of things. Just going back on that point of literally the 5 channels thing, that in some ways just breeds boredom in some ways, and which again breeds creativity. Being able to literally just allow yourself space to be bored and have a bit of headspace really to just create and think of new ideas of whatever else. I think that's crucial.
No, I think it's definitely a point that I've been much more aware of. I think over the last year or two. I think for the impact of COVID for me was that we all kind of recognised things that we may not have recognised if the year had just gone to plan and we were just all guns blazing again. Just being able to, I think, kind of give yourself permission, I think, is key. Just to say, it's okay. Obviously we live in an age where everybody's like, you've got to do your marketing. And even I talk about it on the workshop, kind of like, you've got to be consistent. You've got to put content out. But we are also saying that it's important to just make sure that you can stop every now and then and just give yourself a bit of a respite. And if it's a week, if it's 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. You're going to come back and you're going to be in a better place. You're going to feel more energized and recharged. And
I love that. Give yourself permission, people.
To stop, reflect, and rest.
Okay, number 6, people buy into people. I think you're really good at this.
No, I think you're really good at this, Igor.
It's a good way of passing off the,
no,
the
Igor.
point, isn't it? I think you're really good at this.
No, I think you're great at this, Igor. Do tell. This was one of those points that I think we both said, we almost didn't put it in because it felt a little bit too obvious. But we both kind of agreed that sometimes the obvious and the simple stuff can often be the greatest.
It's the simple fact that the way you present yourself, it's crucial into business, into rubbing shoulders with the people that you want to rub shoulders with, and just attracting people in general, really. As a life skill.
Yeah, totally. And we even wrote on the board next to it, smile. I just smile. It's just such a simple thing.
Yeah.
And I talk about it on like my workshops and stuff about like my experience of working on a shop floor when I was 18, 19 years old through to my early 20s. And I've always kind of described it as a job that at the time didn't feel like it had any real value to me. It was just a minimum wage job that just allowed me to go and buy beer and petrol as a young kid, right? But actually, that environment and working on a shop floor in what was kind of relative high-end fashion, your phone's going, you go, I mean, come on, seriously, I was really just getting into it then. Just gonna have to wait.
It's Dad Denver.
Oh, it's Dad Denver. Okay, we'll get him on the podcast one day. But yeah, working on that shop floor, that it just took. It wasn't until I started to teach photographers that you start to kind of really analyze your background and what lessons your experiences have played on your life, and that for me, that kind of really set me up to just know how to kind of to sell. But to sell without selling, and I think there's a real kind of skill in that I kind of just took for granted as a 22-year-old lad at university. But being able to kind of just approach anybody that walked through the door and to be able to have a conversation with them and make them feel just comfortable. And you do that by kind of a few things, I suppose. First off is just being able to ask the right question. Doing it in a way that you're smiling and you're engaged, and then just giving people the opportunity to respond. And it's as simple as that, but it's amazing how many people aren't able to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. I completely agree. And just the simple fact of having the skill to listen, just sit down and listen to people, and being able to engage and realize or sort of like pinpoint what is the need that they want from this, or from this conversation, or from this client meeting that you're having with a couple or client. It's crucial. It really, really is crucial. And I see it, as you said, it's a really simple point, but it's a life skill, and it's one of those that you very much have to be aware of.
Yeah. But and the point of like people buying to people, it's like, it's amazing. Like if you can provide a really positive experience for your customer, that customer doesn't just go away pleased with the product or the service they've received. What they do is they go away and they tell people about it. And it's amazing how much business you can generate just from giving somebody a positive experience and making them feel really comfortable, being really engaged with them, not just seeing them as another transaction, another sale, a cash cow. Because the moment somebody feels like that, they disconnect. And not only do they go away and just not talk about you, they can go away and talk about you in a negative light. That balance can tip very quickly. And it's just, for me, it's just about being aware of that and just being switched on and just being, like you don't have to be, full of bubbles all the time. You can be, people can be over the top, but just be engaging with people and be switched on and be ready.
And I find that very much when I deal with my clients, it is very much like that. And I'm simply me. I'm comfortable to do that. It's not as if I'm kind of like put myself sort of like, right, let's sell.
It's not an act.
Right,
it's not
let's
an
sell
act.
sort of thing. Comfortably me, and because at the same time I realize that me by being me, it's the best thing that I can do to them in terms of the service that I'm going to provide, because it will be like that on the day, and what you see is what you get in some ways. That's it. I think we've stated it.
Can you think of any? Have you had any? Can you recall any good or bad experiences from a customer service point of view?
Great question. You are catching me.
I mean, I've put you on the spot there.
I
can't. I don't even think I can answer my own question. So,
I can't really think of a specific situation, but I find that what it made me think of is that the simple fact that you, at least for us in our industry, you're going on a wedding, you're rubbing shoulders with guests and everything else. The impression that I constantly get the comment of, your wedding photographer is just great. He's cool, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you are great and you are cool. So,
yeah. But the simple fact that I'm there and I'm just being me, just almost like walking around like a normal guest and just being normal and relatable to people.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you need to do is just there's Aunt Sally over there or Grand Margaret over there, and just literally taking the time to literally just spend 1 minute with them and just getting to know them. It's little things like that really make the difference. So being able to relate to people it's
a huge skill. And actually, as you were saying that, it reminded me of, I then started to think of my answer to the question that I asked you. And we went out for a friend's 40th recently to a restaurant, a really lovely restaurant. And one of those where you get wine pairings, right? So it was a really good restaurant. It was a really good restaurant, and it made me realise the lady that was serving us the wine, the sommelier, was just lovely, really engaging. She could have just come up, served us our wine, told us a bit about it, and gone. But she didn't. We would have a conversation with her about it, and we would ask her where she was from, and we got to know her a little bit. And from that experience alone, when I think about it, I've told 4, 5, 6 other people about that restaurant that we went to. And I've not really told them about how good the food was.
Yeah,
I told them about how lovely it was and how the experience was, and how nice the sommelier was, and that's that really just proves the point, doesn't it?
You've nailed it.
People buy into people. We remember those experiences more often sometimes than the actual product or the service that we're receiving. Moving on.
Yeah,
that's a big one. That's a good one. That is.
It's really
Number
good
7.
One. That said, setting the standard high. I know you were talking about the experience, but the standard that we provide, whatever it is we create, whatever our product is, having the sort of like intensity is not the right word, but having the in my mind it just keeps on coming cojones, but just having that integrity to really...
Sorry, just hold on 1 second. Let's just dial this back a little bit. What was that, Igor? I think everybody will want to hear more of that. We'll use that on the soundbite.
Yes. Having the the word just doesn't.
Is it about self-awareness again? Do you think?
No, it's very much the no compromise. The idea of having no compromise to, this is going to be the bar, this is going to be my standard.
Yeah.
And whoever walks through those doors, this is the standard that you're going to get, and nothing below that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's always about asking. I think when I said about self-awareness, for me, it's about having the ability to recognise that you've provided a product or a service, and that's good, and you've done well. But to always, I always find myself going, can I just do that a bit better? Mm-hmm. Can I do that better?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It might even just be like a 0.5% improvement on something. But those little 0.5% or percents, they add up and they compound over time.
Yeah.
And I always think it doesn't matter. Like we've done it today with setting up this. We've said, should we do anything else? How do we make this better? And we're gonna, when we sit down to edit the podcast, we're gonna be like, okay, that's good, right? We're off to a good start, right?
Yeah.
We've done it, but how do we make it better?
Yeah.
How do we strive to something that is going to take it to that next stage?
Yeah.
And then once you get to that next stage, you apply the same process.
Mm-hmm.
It never ends, really.
Yeah.
We just don't want people to stop for it to prevent them from starting or doing something in the first place.
Yeah.
Having a high standard and aiming for something is great. If you don't aim for that standard, where are you going to be? Like, we're not saying that everybody achieves that standard either. Like, I don't always feel like I achieve the standard that I set myself at the beginning.
Yeah.
But by at least aiming for that, I still fall much higher than maybe I would if I didn't set that standard.
Yeah.
Which does kind of lead us on to
number 8, which is identify what makes you, especially within the days that we live today in terms of social media and everything else. It's such a crucial thing to really know what makes you tick, know what your identity is, what makes Sam, what makes Igor, what makes people attracted to you or your business or what you create or what you make. It's crucial really, because there's so many within our industry. It's so vast. You see photographers out there looking the same constantly, and it's so crucial in some ways to be able to set yourself apart from that and be you, really. So
you can only set yourself apart by being authentic, right?
So I think this having this sort of sheer willingness to doubling down on you, and really identifying the things that makes you, it's crucial. What would you say? I was going to say now, what makes Sam?
I don't know. Well, I think you made a point at the beginning of that about like the comparison culture, right? And I think there's two parts to that. The first is that we always look at other people and we compare ourselves and we go, shit, I'm not good enough here, or that person's doing that, therefore I need to go and do that. And I think sometimes everybody just needs to kind of this is the whole point, is to be able to recognize what makes you and what's unique to you, what makes you authentic, what are you drawn to as an artist, as a creative. And then the second part to that, or the second part to that Instagram comparison culture, is that we see people that are much further down the line, that have developed their skill set, their whatever it might be, and because we're not there yet, we can't put anything out. And that can be that can really strangle growth, because
it can be crippling.
You've got to just get out there and put stuff out and just accept that. I think it all the time. There's so many better photographers out there than me, but they're not me. What I do and the work I go and look for makes me, and same with you. If we constantly just looked at each other and went, "Oh no, I can't put anything out because they're doing that," nothing would you would never move anywhere.
And the people that really succeed within this sort of like game or trap of comparison really are the people that I find that very much double down on being themselves, unapologetically themselves. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a loud character or anything like that, but no, just be you, and accept that.
Absolutely.
And
great point. I mean, I think we're doing all right so far. Do you think we're I mean, I hope I hope people are enjoying it. We're going to find out when they share it all on Instagram, aren't we? It's just a nice little nudge reminder for you there.
But
and then
last 2 points. Number 9.
We're at number 9 already.
Wow.
Trust the process.
I particularly like this one because it's, especially with my journey in terms of like photography and everything else, it has very much been a journey of patience and trusting the process, trusting that what I'm doing is right and it's going to pay off at some point. Especially going from making the whole jump from going part-time to full-time photography. It was hard work and it took a long time.
How long? Like, we're talking years. Doesn't just happen within a few months, does it?
Definitely not. And it's definitely a journey, but at the same time, it's okay to go through that journey really, and within, again, our culture very much celebrates get it fast, get it now sort of thing, but it's okay to take time and grow something and be able to see something at the results. I'm waffling, but it's okay for things to take time.
Yeah, of course it is. I think it's more like the idea that you're building a house more than you are just buying a product from Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You've got to put the foundations down, because if you don't, your house it's not standing up, is it? You can't build that business without setting solid foundations, and they don't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
I look back on my business, and I think probably for the first 3 or 4 years, I kind of still figuring a lot of stuff out. And I still think I'm figuring things out, but I'm a lot happier with where my business is at now. But for those first few years, you just got to you've got to just be aware and just believe that you are working towards something, and it is going to get there eventually. Again, we've talked about the studio, but this is a process again. I've had to remind myself that I've been here 3 months. It straight away off the bat isn't just going to start getting booked out for people. It's not just going to happen overnight. I've got to just keep chipping away, keep working on the little things, keep trying to make things better, and sort of believe in that journey. And you could apply this idea of like trust the process to quite a few of these things, couldn't you? The points we've talked about, the same thing, but the same thing for me goes towards fitness. It's like trusting in the process. You've just got to keep believing that in 6 months' time, if you've continually worked at it, you're going to have improved.
We've spoken about it so many times throughout this episode, but it's that compounding interest, that compounding effect of doing things little by little. But once you
the 1%ers,
once you step back, all those 1% compound to massive things, really.
And then the final one.
The final one is always be growing. I love this one because if you're not growing, it's I forget the quote, but it's crucial basically, because if you, that's the quote. If you're not learning, you're not growing. And it's
such an obvious one.
But it's such a crucial one at the same time. I find that it's very easy for people to get stuck in their ways and not trying different things, and not trying to expand not just the business but themselves. So for me, it's constantly reading or listening to audiobooks or other podcasts that will be able to sort of create great ideas or something that I might be able to take away. This episode
this podcast,
it's the perfect example, really. If out of all of those, yes, there's some that are really crucial, but out of all of those, I find that this one, the point of always being growing, always learning, it's one of the crucial ones, really.
I think for me it's a great one to kind of finish on as well. It kind of brings together quite a few of the things we've talked about, like the living in a world where people want instant results. It just doesn't work like that. You've constantly got to be soaking it up and taking it on board, and I think the point is for this one is that it's just being open to that, like making sure that you are open and present enough to take those lessons on. Because if you shut off and you close and you go, no, do you know what? I'm set here. I'm good.
That's it.
You're not just standing still. You're going backwards because everybody else is moving forwards. Everybody else is learning. Everybody else is wanting to grow. And we live in this age now, and we can look at the negatives. We could do an entire day talking about the negatives and the social impacts of Instagram. But we live in a world where knowledge it has never surrounded us more than it does right now. You can go on Instagram and follow influencers or celebrities, whatever you want to follow, or you can choose to follow people that are going to positively impact you and bring, and this is the key word, bring value. I've talked about it. We've talked about it personally about kids watching YouTube and like watching programs on YouTube that aren't kind of that aren't governed by anybody, and it's just trash. They bring no value to me, like my children's education. They don't bring any value. It's just rubbish TV. And it's the same thing for us as adults. It doesn't stop. It never ends. We're always still. I don't feel like going off on one here a little bit now. I feel like I'm really going for it here, Igor. Got the bit between my teeth. But I've thought about this a lot recently about how like the school system and education for me.
So here we go again.
I wasn't geared to that.
Yeah.
But actually, I feel like I've grown more in the last 5 or 6 years than I probably did throughout my entire educational life.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't made for it, but I wasn't also ready. I just didn't want to learn. I wasn't there for it. It didn't engage me.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, no, there's so much out there I want to pick up and
and it feels exciting.
Yeah,
it feels
massively.
excited to actually be learning new things and be implementing new things within the business or within your personal life. It feels exciting. Yeah.
I'm excited. Well, that is the end of episode 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been great so far. I've loved having you on the sofa.
Love being here.
It's been really good. Just to wrap up, again, if anybody can share it on social, if you can tag us, if you can leave a comment, it would be amazing to get your thoughts on it.
And
what you liked, what you didn't like.
Yeah, I've got a question for the audience, really. What, especially going on that last point, what books is everyone reading? Or what are you listening to? Just write it down and comment.
You gave me one earlier to read, didn't you? That you told me about.
Yeah.
How to
win friends and influence people. It's kind of like a staple book, or it should be a book on every sort of like entrepreneur's shelf. But yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People is a really great one, and I think it's a really old book, but I think it's been modernized as well.
Yeah.
How to Win Friends and Win People in a internet age sort of thing. But yeah, it's a crucial one. But yeah, I would love to know what books or what podcasts, whatever, everyone is listening to.
Yeah, maybe that's another episode for a future podcast for us to look at the books that people have recommended that are beneficial to. It'd be great to go through them and start.
That'd be really good, actually. Yeah.
Great stuff. Cheers, guys.
Love you. Bye.